You just yelled. Your child's lower lip is doing that slight tremble, and you're standing in the kitchen with the car keys in your hand, thinking the same thing every parent thinks in this moment. I'm a terrible mom. I'm a terrible dad. What is wrong with me? In that moment, it feels like the damage is permanent. But researchers who have spent decades studying the parent-child bond suggest that the next 5 minutes are actually more significant than the outburst that just happened. This research shifts the focus from the rupture to the return. It suggests that the resilience of a bond depends on the thousands of times a parent notices a break and chooses to fix it. The goal isn't to be the parent who never yells, it's to be the parent who knows how to come back. In 1975, Harvard psychologist Ed Tronick demonstrated this with the still face experiment. He had a mother sit with her baby and suddenly stop reacting. Her face went blank. Within 2 minutes after their sniles and reaches were ignored, the babies fell apart. Their bodies went limp and they turned away in distress. But when Tronick had the mothers come back to smile and reach out again, the babies recovered almost instantly. The bond that felt broken was repaired the moment the parent became responsive. This chart shows what Tronick and his colleagues discovered across thousands of observations. Even in the healthiest, most secure relationships, parents and babies are in sync only about 30% of the time. 70% of the time, the parent is misreading a cue, looking away, or missing a bid for connection. The babies in these studies still grew up secure because of what happened inside that 70%. Back in your kitchen, the first step of this repair happens inside your own body. If your heart is still racing and your jaw is tight, you are flooded. If you try to apologize while you're in this state, your voice will have a sharp edge that your child's nervous system will read as a threat, making a real connection impossible. You need to step away. Put your hand on the counter, take a breath that goes all the way to your belly, or step into the bathroom for 90 seconds. You have to get your body out of fight mode before you say a word. Taking 2 minutes to collect yourself doesn't cause damage. Your child is watching the door, waiting for you to return. The damage comes from the silence, from never coming back at all. When you walk back in, you must drop down to their eye level. When a small child has been yelled at by a much larger person, their threat system is active. By getting your eyes at the same height as theirs, you change the physical data their body is collecting from looming threat to safe partner. Now you use sentence 1. I yelled. That wasn't okay. I love you. You maim the specific action, admit it was wrong without flinching, and answer the one question their brain is asking on a loop. Am I still loved?
It is vital that you do not add the word but. A real apology does not concern itself with blame. If you say, I'm sorry I yelled, but you weren't listening, you are handing the responsibility for your loss of control back to the child. Keeping the but out of your apology prevents the child from learning that love is conditional on their behavior, or that managing a parent's emotions is their job. Step 3 is sentence 2. Name your feeling, not their behavior. Instead of explaining that they were being too loud, you say, I was overwhelmed. I let the day get too big inside me and I handled it the wrong way. In this model of repair, the subject of the sentence is always I. You are taking full ownership of the emotion. This teaches your child that emotions are internally owned and managed by the person feeling them, rather than being caused by the people around them. You aren't just apologizing, you're modeling how a person handles their own inner life. Sentence 3 closes the loop with a specific action. You tell them, next time I feel that big, I'm going to walk into the kitchen and breathe before I talk to you. A realistic plan is much more effective than a promise to never yell again. Children can distinguish between a wish and a map. They need to see that you have a practical strategy for doing things differently next time. This final step demonstrates that emotional regulation is a skill that adults actively work on. It shows them that when we fall short of who we want to be, we don't just feel guilty, we make a plan to change. Now, this doesn't mean the child's behavior didn't matter. If they hit or broke a rule or pushed a limit, that conversation still needs to happen. However, that discipline conversation must be separate from the repair window. You can talk about the hitting or the broken toy 10 minutes later, or at bedtime, once everyone's nervous system has fully landed. If you combine the repair and the discipline into one conversation, you lose the effectiveness of both. The repair loses its sincerity, and the discipline lesson gets lost in the emotional fallout of the yell. Over a childhood, these 5-minute windows provide a predictable experience: the feeling of being in trouble, followed by the relief of finding a way back. Your child is internalizing the rhythm of recovery, learning that conflict has a resolution. Decades from now, when that child is an adult and they snap at their own kid, they will know exactly what to do next. They will kneel down because they watched you do it. And if you're worried about all the times you didn't repair, know that it isn't too late. You can repair a rupture from yesterday or even last year. Sitting down tonight and saying, "I've been thinking about when I yelled last week, and I want you to know that wasn't okay," still closes that loop. Perfection is not the requirement for a healthy bond. What your child needs is simply a parent who is willing to come back.